Hey App Squad, this is Team APS with a new topic for you guys.
In today's video, we're going to be pondering the question, just who is Yu-Gi-Oh really for?
So we've all looked at a booster pack. We know Yu-Gi-Oh is, it says on the pack, 6 and up.
Yeah, so that would imply, this is supposed to be a game that pretty much any kid can play.
Yeah, literally from the moment you turn 6, that midnight, you can now pick up a card.
But the question is Yu-Gi-Oh, when you kind of just take all these different things into account, really a game that like a 6-year-old can play, should be playing, or is there maybe a different target audience in mind?
Yeah, maybe Yu-Gi-Oh maybe should say 16 and up.
Yeah, so we've been thinking about this, and we've kind of broken it down into a couple of different areas where we're going to just talk about it, share our thoughts. It's not really a top 10, it's not really a list, it's just sort of an open discussion.
Yeah, open-ended discussion.
And at the end of the video, we of course would like to hear your thoughts too. So, be sure to let us know at the end. Alright, first things first. Thematically, right?
Yeah, the themes of Yu-Gi-Oh! How do they line up with a 6-year-old's sensibilities?
Yeah, what do you think? Do you think Yu-Gi-Oh's like, too mature for a kid? Or?
Well, luckily, I was there when Yu-Gi-Oh! Was first coming out, and I was a wee youngin'. I don't remember how old I was, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Was terrifying. Man, did I get nightmares of just like the generic Fiend cards that came out way back then.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Yu-Gi-Oh! When it was first released was actually a load scarier than it is now. Like, back in the day, when you read the flavor text and you just kind of saw how the monsters looked,
they weren't friendly.
It was mostly just things like, this thing dwells in like the darkness of hell and eats people and stuff. Yeah,
This thing is a I don't know. It's a dog named Marin. Oh wait, that's a card.
That's just a dark story behind it.
Really?
But yeah, it dies and then it comes back to life.
Oh my god.
Anyway, but yeah, the old Yu-Gi-Oh cards, actually, if you read the flavor text and just kind of look at the art, they were mostly ghouls and like just kind of like creepy creatures.
Like Kaiba's entire deck.
Very feral stuff.
Like Battle Ox. That thing wasn't cuddly. He wasn't nice. He was a Battle Ox.
Now, on the other hand, I think there's actually a difference today. Like, as time's gone on, they've mostly kind of made it more,
more like
anime protagonists.
Yeah, more anime, and it's less generic. We had cards like Beaver Warrior, Battle Ox, Judgment. These were just kind of generic things. These weren't people. These weren't really a character.
Creatures. Nowadays, you just have these things where it's like, oh, I think that this archetype is cute, like Madolche. Or this is a cool archetype of, like, ritual beast tamers and stuff.
If you notice, and they're also hyper-specific. These cards now have names, and their name is no longer just what they are. Like, well, what's her name? Ritual Beast Tamer.
Lara, stuff like that.
That card's name is Lara. She is a person. She is someone's waifu. Hitatsumi Giant will never be anyone's. Well, but like, let me take that back.
My waifu. No, I really do think that, like, when you look at kind of where it's gone from back then, there were way more religious references before.
Oh yeah.
A lot of that stuff having to get censored, onks and crosses and all that stuff.
Plenty of like things relating to torture.
Yeah, lots of cards like that. Nightmare Wheel and stuff getting censored. More weaponry, honestly, in the older cards. Nowadays, they tend to either be designed less like that or it's just heavily censored.
Blades aren't. Things used to be sharp. Remember Dark Blade? He was a pointy little guy.
Yeah, I think they had a lot of fun with Fright Furs though.
Oh,
a little crazy.
They censored the living mess out of them too.
Yeah, I think that really and truly, Yu-Gi-Oh nowadays definitely feels pretty child safe. I mean, people don't like the censoring, and I'm not saying that I do per se, but I think that as themes go, would you say 6+ is a fair age, or?
Heck yeah! I mean, especially when you compare something like Gravekeepers to Cosmo.
Yeah, that's true. Just thematically, it's just kind of different. Like futuristic, cool spaceships versus like,
the guys who guard crypts and tombs.
Yeah. So. Definitely on the thematic front, I think it's fine. I think that kids can like it. I think that nowadays adults can find something to like about it too. So.
We have to dig a bit deeper, of course, but it's there.
Now, what about the price? I think this is kind of the elephant in the room because we all know Yu-Gi-Oh gets expensive.
Yeah.
And I think that in a lot of ways could be a big barrier to entry for a child, right?
I mean, not if your parents are loaded. I mean, I stopped by some Dragon Duels before, and
There's always a few of those kids.
there was a kid with like a max rarity so-and-so deck.
I think that the divide comes when it's like, are you just buying, is it like a kid getting packs from his mom maybe every other week, like he gets one pack, you know, when they go to the store.
He gets good grades, and even if he gets bad grades, he gets a pack.
Yeah, that's like $3 or $4, right? And then maybe every now and then he'll get a 10, and that's like $20, and his parents will buy it.
That's only on Christmas.
But the question, though, is like, if he wants to play competitively or build like a kind of specific deck and like order individual cards.
You gotta hit up Amazon or tcgplayer.com.
Oh yeah, whoa, where'd that plug come from? Anyway, yeah, though, I think that's kind of where it gets a little bit tricky because we know cards are expensive. There's like, oftentimes the most important thing that you need triple of in a deck is like $60-$70 or something.
Yeah, even cheap decks are still gonna at least cost you like 20. And how does a 6-year-old say, Mom, I need $20, I need this deck? Actually, I'm wrong, because he has to order the cards online for the most part. So, Mom, I need your card so I can get online and
that
order
alone,
these cards.
right, becomes kind of a barrier, wouldn't you say? Now, I think that in that sense, Yu-Gi-Oh feels like it's kind of more targeted towards like a teen is kind of what I think
Someone
of.
with like an income, well, some type of income.
A little small like part-time
an
job.
allowance, a part-time job.
Yeah, I think in that way, Yu-Gi-Oh is kind of not so much for kids, but maybe more for like a teen, a young adult, you know.
And it's especially more kind of attuned towards people that have actual jobs with real incomes. With like how expensive the game can be, it just seems targeted towards people that can bring in some real money.
Yeah, and then wasted on cards.
That area between like 18, watch yourself, 18 and like 22.
Yeah, that sounds more accurate.
You know, you're not completely an adult yet.
You don't have
pull an
bills,
adult
but you
paycheck.
can. Yeah, I agree. That's true. And then what about what would you say? Is the next thing? I think the skill, like the strategy, the skill.
I would say how do you put that? The base level skill required.
That's the opposite, I think, of thematics. Whereas the thematics have gotten more like sort of child friendly and safe. The monster effects now are literally longer and longer. Like with every passing year, these cards can do more and more.
Yeah, they've had to come up with all these fixes for the text, and
there's still mess like chains, damage step, things that like, you know, Black Horn of Heaven magically can't negate Zombie Master.
Obscure rules
that
not a whole lot of people really understand. They might have heard about it, and they might think they get it, but they really don't.
Yeah, and it's like, how do you explain that to a kid? I think it really does favor kind of the teenager there more too.
Especially, can you imagine trying to explain like cost to a 6-year-old?
Yeah,
like,
cost.
You got to see the semicolon. And he's like, "What's a semicolon?"
And I hate to turn this into a link rant, but man, links are hard to explain to people. I mean, I've tried explaining links to just like people my age who kind of played the game a bit. It's like, oh yeah, here's how links work. Oh, and by the way, if you're using a link monster as link material to make another link monster, you can actually use its link level as materials instead of its actual self as a monster. So you can use a link 2 monster and a normal monster to make a link 3. It's like this.
But it still has to meet the specifications on the
actual card.
Yeah.
And then they also have these arrows that no other monster has, and they go into the zone, and it feels like it's a little too much to explain. I think that for all the strategy, all the reading, all the kind of computational stuff, Yu-Gi-Oh feels like you kind of got to be a teenager, right?
Unless you're a 6th grader with like a 13-year-old reading level.
Yeah. You mean a 6-year-old with it.
What did I say?
A 6th grader. 6th grader's only like 11, right?
You're right.
I don't know.
6.
But no, I get you. I think that you do have to kind of be a teen, young adult to really succeed at playing the game the way it is now. Because even the simple, like, budget archetypes and stuff still have, you know, kind of their intricacies.
If they're any decent, they're gonna have to have at least 2 effects on them, and
yeah,
you have to understand like the basic chain concepts. If you're gonna take that deck to compete, you're gonna need to finesse some things.
Yeah, you'll have to understand, or you're gonna learn it the hard way, and that gets into actually kind of the next, the last thing that really can feel like it's
the overall culture of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. Now, this isn't going to be a bashing the community. We're not saying all Yu-Gi-Oh players are just these horrible people.
But how would you feel if you went to your shop and 14 6-year-olds walked in wanting to learn how to play?
Yeah,
Tell us how you'd really feel.
I mean, more than that, right? Would you let your 7-year-old son or daughter go to?
Don't do that.
X
I've seen them.
card shop?
They'll do it, Paul. They
Yeah,
don't care.
I know you're right. Maybe the better question though is, card shops, they can be toxic, right? Like,
Oh yeah, we all know somebody we would not leave a 6-year-old with.
yeah, there's a lot of profanity. And I'm not saying all Yu-Gi-Oh players are, but there's a lot.
There's a lot of it.
Theft, right? You know,
There are people who will try and take advantage of a 6-year-old.
rip off, yeah. There's people who are like sharking. You know,
Some people don't have patience, so a 6-year-old might call themselves wanting to have fun playing the game, and for some reason the biggest tryhard in your locals might just sit across from them.
People lose tempers, and so it's always gonna be someone who tries to like rule shark and all these things. I think that and that's just locally. I think that at big events they've done a good job. They have like dragon duels,
Yeah, kind of separate the children.
which is cool. But I mean, even there, it can feel really uninviting for
The disparity in skill level is staggering in the Dragon Duel scene. You have anything from little Jimmy who picked up a starter deck 2 weeks ago to
spoiled brat whose mom bought him $500 max rarity deck.
he's been playing Zoo for 4 months and he's just as good as like the top
Yeah, he
16
could be winning the
in
main
YCS.
I think it does say something, because I mean, Dragon Duels only came in like maybe 2012 or so, I want to say, is kind of when it came out. It really says something that they had to make a separate format for kids. That really should tell you something about kind of the age group and stuff, right?
Yeah, and just shout out to the judges who have to judge those, because that sounds rough.
Probably a nightmare. Yeah, so in conclusion then,
Our verdict. Well, it's not a verdict. This is just our opinion.
yeah, so what do you think, right? What's
Man.
your take?
I believe while Yu-Gi-Oh is preferred for someone that's a bit older, I would say at least 16. Though nowadays Yu-Gi-Oh is more, at least the cards themselves thematically it's more inviting to children than they were before. So it's a weird mix of, hey, this is the better time to get into Yu-Gi-Oh because the cards look nicer, but the mechanics say it's probably not a good time.
I would say that I'm not saying they should like change the packaging and say like 13 plus, but I think that if you really are gonna seriously play Yu-Gi-Oh, I think it should be like 13 plus. That's just my take on it. I mean, I think that for kids, maybe collecting the cards makes more sense.
Maybe they should just put a new rating on Link Monsters saying 13 and up. Just on Link Monsters. You're not allowed to play them until you're 13.
Yeah, because I do think that it's just, when you consider the price, the strategy, the culture of a card shop, just kind of all of it together, I think that teens seems about right.
But what do we know? We're just two guys sitting on a couch recording a video.
So what do you guys think? What do you think is sort of the minimum age to play Yu-Gi-Oh? Is it really like child friendly? Is it maybe something only adults should be playing,
Share any anecdotes, stories about maybe when you were a kid, or a kid, or you brought your kid, and
yeah. Would you let your kid play this? Would you let your kid play Yu-Gi-Oh? He's 6 years old.
Man, my kid is gonna be the biggest tryhard. I'm gonna buy him everything. Oh, my kid's gonna be terrible.
He's single, ladies. So, yeah, that's the video. Hope you guys liked it. Be sure to leave a thumbs up if you did, and sub if you loved it. Don't forget.
Hit the notification bell.
Yes.
Join the APS squad.
You will see every time we upload a new video. Check out TCG Player. Follow us on social media. It's going to be it. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Pass turn.